On the East Coast, medical garbage continues to wash up on beaches, and one of the culprits has been charged. In the West, forest fires continue to rage in 12 states.
NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening, I'm Garrett Utley. Tom Brokaw is on vacation. It is the unpleasant side of a long, hot summer. Pollution and destruction of natural resources of land meant to be enjoyed. Today, more beaches on the East Coast were closed because of medical debris washing up, including dead laboratory rats. Here's Jennifer McLogan.
More than a dozen beaches from Cape Cod to Delaware, including 2 oceanfront national parks, remain closed. Medical waste, hypodermic needles, blood bags, even dead laboratory rats continue to wash up. On New York's Long Island, the Nassau County Department of Health believes it may have found one of the culprits. This local hospital, 8 miles from the ocean, has been charged with 5 violations for improperly disposing of contaminated waste. It should have been incinerated, but apparently was dumped in a nearby landfill.
A truck had deposited what appeared to be infectious waste. An alert employee saw it. A supervisor then followed the truck back to South Nassau Community's hospital. Within the waste, there appears to be 25 orange bags that at this time do not appear to be autoclaved.
The hospital denies the charges and says its infectious waste is sterilized and taken away by private haulers for incineration.
We have bags that have the autoclave markings on them. That means they've been sterilized. The material is inert and, according to state regulations, is safe for disposal.
Beachgoers are horrified.
I feel bad that we can't keep a lid on it and, prosecute them and make them abide by the rules.
Today in Rhode Island, officials said they have traced waste from their beaches to New York area hospitals, drugstores, and ambulance services.
You're somewhat light years away from identifying a target and being able to conduct an investigation that's going to give you a defendant.
New York's environmental commissioner says his state won't take all the blame.
Whether or not the material that is washed up on Massachusetts and Rhode Island beaches recently or on New Jersey beaches is responsible to New York City, I have my doubts.
Officials in New York and New Jersey say they have found refuse which may lead them to other hospitals. They are also looking for any connection between those hospitals and their private waste haulers. Jennifer McLogan, NBC News, New York.
And in the West, an environmental nightmare of a different sort, wildfires. They are burning tonight in 12 states. In South Dakota and Idaho, where temperatures hovered near 100, the flames were so intense they forced 700 people from their homes. 4 houses were destroyed and 4 more were damaged. In Yellowstone National Park, the fires are the worst in park history. Officials had been letting the wildfires burn as long as they threatened no buildings or people. But as NBC's Don Oliver reports tonight, the firefighters are now having to change tactics.
Interior Department admitted today that 85,000 acres burning in Yellowstone Park are too many, and that from now on, lightning-caused fires will be fought. The decision follows criticism that the Park Service has allowed the situation in Yellowstone to get out of hand.
Hi, I'm Don Hodel.
Interior Secretary Donald Hodel came to Yellowstone today to see the fire situation for himself and to attempt to deflect the criticism of his agency. He said all that is reasonable and appropriate is being done and blamed problems on the weather.
Along comes this 1 in every 200 or 400 year drought condition. So I don't think the park people feel it was a miscalculation. And what they have done is said we're going to take steps to protect Grant Village and Old Faithful and some of the other facilities in the park.
One of those attending Hodel's news conference was an angry resident of Gardner, Montana, who said the smoke is killing his town.
They should have stopped them when they started.
As the Interior Secretary toured the park by air, firefighters were sending out helicopters loaded with jellied gasoline in an attempt to stop the advance of the fire near Old Faithful. The napalm-like mixture is dropped and ignited ahead of the fire in hopes that it will burn toward the main blaze and cause a fire break. Park officials continue to insist that Old Faithful remains out of danger, but fire crews were busy thinning out brush and timber around the perimeter of the compound, and dozens of fire pumpers were lined up in a parking lot at the ready. It sprinkled a little bit here today, not much of a rain, but firefighters say the weather now is less conducive to fire than it was a couple of days ago. Don Oliver, NBC News in Yellowstone National Park.
And also this evening on NBC Nightly News, what do these places have in common? The Persian Gulf and France? Answer, most Americans can't find them on a map. Bob Abernathy reports on the sad results of a nationwide geography test. And the Shroud of Turin. Did it cover Christ's body? Stephen Fraser shows us the latest scientific investigation to lay this riddle to rest. The Reagan administration is renewing its war of nerves against Panama strongman Manuel Noriega. The White House won't confirm or deny it. But NBC's Andrea Mitchell reports tonight that another effort to drive Noriega from power has been approved.
More than a year after first deciding to oust Noriega, the president approved a secret plan to step up the efforts. Sources tell NBC News that the plan calls for weakening Noriega by trying to destabilize his palace guard, the Panamanian Defense Force. The classified intelligence finding authorizes the delivery of U.S. communications equipment to ousted Panamanian President Arturo Duvalier, still in hiding, so that he can try to win the loyalty of key Noriega officers. But Mr. Reagan did not approve military action against Noriega, and he has still not accepted a proposal from George Shultz to kidnap Noriega and bring him to the United States. While neither confirming nor denying that he has ordered covert action, the president clearly wants Noriega out.
Certainly he is not good for Panama or good for our relations.
The White House said the president called President Duvalier 10 days ago to tell him that the U.S. has not given up on its efforts to get rid of Noriega. This after reports that the Noriega opposition is becoming demoralized.
We will have to continue paying a price until the dictatorship is overthrown.
Meanwhile, congressional critics accuse the White House of leaking word of the covert plan to scare Noriega and prop up a failed policy.
This is not the kind of psychological warfare that is going to lead to Noriega stepping down.
I think it's politics. I think it comes down to a question of trying to pretend that we're doing something.
Some administration officials concede that the plan is designed more to pacify the Noriega opposition than restore democracy in Panama. One top official said Noriega is going to leave when Noriega is ready to leave. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News at the White House.